black tank flush right here. Okay. Yeah, and that's specifically for flushing out the black tank when you go to empty it.
Right.
Getting that, depending on where you are to do it, how you're handling that part. This would be handy if you can take advantage of it, but if you don't have pressurized water, that's going to be, I don't know if you can. Because you can't just pour water into it, you know what I mean? You need to have actual pressurized water going into that, like the city water.
For this, when you're flushing it.
Yeah. So an alternative way to potentially deal with flushing out the black tank would be possibly just throw extra water down the toilet and just kind of fill it up with water before you dump it, and just like kind of gravity, do the best you can, and just use a lot of water with the black tank. Just make sure there's a ton of water in there. I'd say up to like 30% water fill on it.
When you flush it, I'm not sure we can.
So the black tank is basically just like all your holding tanks, right? Just a big box.
Right.
Treat it like a septic system and make sure there's water in the black tank before you're doing any kind of black tank business, right? And then that way, as it's getting filled, there's a lot of water to help it vacate. And then you're tracking the percentage of full inside as well, just like a freshwater tank. So essentially, kind of what you've got here, water going in, using water in gray tank, black tank, or showers, toilet, whatever. It's all ending up down here in the holding tanks. You've got your wastewater, which is going to be showers and sinks, and then you've got your black tank, which is sewage only. So in that flush is dealing only with the black tank, just to kind of help deal with more solids and stuff, right? Help flush it out.
So what I've bought is one of those Camco tote tanks. I don't know if you're familiar with those.
I've heard of that.
It's a portable tank on wheels.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
And the one I got is, I think, 30 or 35 gallons. You can get them smaller than that. It's
that's
just
right.
that they're heavy.
Right.
So that's going to be my system, is to dump from here into that and then haul that off.
Okay. Well, how far out do you have to go to haul it?
Well, there is a rest area in here. It's a dump station within maybe 5 miles.
Gotcha. Okay.
But it closed right now. So
oh shit!
I'm not exactly
Figuring that one out.
when that's going to be
done
and where my other options are. There are other options around. There's a state park in there. There's other places.
State parks usually have that stuff. Yeah.
I think they charge $5 a time.
Do they really? So Washington has what's called a Discovery Pass, and that's usually good for like all state parks.
So I have one of those. I don't know if it covers.
Just going in and out.
Okay.
Curious.
Yeah.
Curious. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. How far out are you from getting your septic or sewer hooked in?
That will be the last thing we do to build the house.
Oh, that's right.
So
That's always
this will be my
this is it.
solution.
Got it. Okay. Okay. Got it.
Not great, but it's better than me.
Is there a temporary tank they could set up? Like a temporary? I should show you what we have actually, because we ran into an issue with the city when you moved in here. It was a print facility, not meant for auto RV dealership, and so we didn't realize that there were different rules and stuff. And the city was like, you can't just go dumping stuff into what we got the clean out, right? Yeah, and so what we did was we actually created a like 200-gallon holding tank that we actually dump into, and then we get somebody to come out to pump it out. Let's take a look at that before you go.
Yeah.
I'll show you exactly. We basically have this massive box downhill. So so when you dump it, it actually gets downhill.
We have downhill opportunities. So I'm liking this idea.
Yeah, I kind of am too. And so we basically just ran a PVC pipe about 30 yards out. It's in an incline, and then there's just this small little hole that we use like a hose that's about this long to hook in the trailer and into this pipe, and it just sends it right into this massive.
But you don't leave it open at all times. You just wait till it's full and then dump it, right?
Yeah.
And then the flush tank, or the flush valve, whatever.
Flush, yeah. And then we have
necessary then to clean out the tank and you close it when.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. So.
And so these guys come out periodically
To pump it.
empty that.
Yeah. Yep.
How big a truck is it that they send out?
I think when I've seen them before, I think they're just standard septic pump guys. don't know. I've not seen them come out and actually do it. So I mean, the trucks are roughly, they're not even as long as your trailer. They go maybe to the back window here. And that's all the way to the front of the tongue of the jack, and for the pitch there, and they can go about here. They're kind of heavy duty trucks, right? So they've got big wheels and all that stuff, and depending on your lawn and all that, you might create some issues just getting to wherever you store it, but it might be a solution for you that makes up less of the hassle. For sure. Yeah. Yeah, we'll look at what we got and kind of take some pictures of something and think about that. The other thing we did with the holding tank, we don't just have a box out, sitting on the ground. We actually created a containment thing for it too. So it's basically sitting in like this big pool sort of thing to catch any overflow or catch any kind of weird leakage, right? So it doesn't end up, so it doesn't get too funky on us, right? That's kind of the idea. So anyway, we'll take a tour of that a little bit later. Okay, cool. So essentially, basics is you've got this little hole that everything's dumping out of, and a little cap that you're basically going to unscrew.
Oh, okay. So I think the videos I was probably looking at were different older models where there was my impression was there were two different connection points. A separate one for gray water versus black water. But
It's
all coming through one.
It's all coming through one. You just basically have two different levers, right? And that'll release your gray, which is kind of, you can see the color, kind of lighter color there. Gray, wastewater, and then black is for your black water. And yeah, it is all coming through one. So it is kind of important what sequence you do this in. Always do black water first, right? Clean all that stuff out, close the valve, and then release the gray to kind of just rinse stuff out. Yep. And that's kind of it. It's pretty simple. Just make sure stuff's locked in before you release anything.
Sure.
My father-in-law, I'll tell you the story real quick. He, in terms of like things going very wrong, no one's had worse experience than he has. He got super clever with this and hooked up a macerator to the end of this for some reason. He didn't need it, but he just did.
I've read that people do that.
Yeah, and it's just kind of like, sure, okay. We actually hooked it into our sewer cleanout, and so that kind of helps with. I guess for that reason he was getting super clever with it. But as he was experimenting with it, he was holding the hose in his hand, facing, flips the switch, and that stuff just straight up and just came right back down. Yeah, the absolute worst thing I've ever heard happen. It's just fantastic with my father-in-law. So there you go. It doesn't get worse than that.